Apparently, it was later on I found out that her place belonged to her. And there was a Tonton Marco who used to live near and wanted to have that place, and she didn't want to give it up.
And that's how
And as a result of that, she was put in jail. And I remember that night vividly. I was not even 8 years old. I probably was gonna be 8 years that same year. So the incident basically happened in the month of January, something like that. I remember the night that they came and took her. But I know it was night because the light were on. Because I always remember that the lights were on and my mother had just given me a shower and put my beautiful yellow nightgown on me, to go to bed. And when they knocked at the door and she inquired who was there. So, and the answer was like, open the door before we blow your mind. I don't want to spoil the story.
Yeah, definitely. But still, you didn't stay on that. Because what is interesting in the book, although those chapters, I'm sorry, they are tough, as you said, to write. Those 2 chapters, as you said, you shed a lot of tears, but you didn't stay there. Because one of the former American President, Barack Obama, he writes about the audacity of hope. Actually, in this book, you show that hope, right? Because in the sense that you talk about the power of prayer. You also show how good decisions can come out of broken heart, and also disappointment can become synonym of blessings. So you didn't stay in this nightmare.
Oh, yes, I did not. Because bear in mind, at that time, I didn't know I had a father. I didn't know who my father was. My mother was my everything. My mother was my mother, my father, my everything, like I said. So the word father that was not something that was never mentioned in my household. So, and back then in Haiti, so, kids, we don't ask questions. Whatever that you don't see, you don't ask about it. Whatever that you so you don't ask questions. So you ask questions, you get beaten just for asking questions. I never really asked questions. I think that never really crossed my attention. I didn't understand the need of a father, or if a father was supposed to be around. So that was never an issue for me. And at that moment, so it was like a neighbor who happened, to have conversation about my mother, and she knew where my father was. And that neighbor who took me to my father. But unfortunately, my father could not accept me. My father never accepted me to begin with. So since the day I was born, my father never wanted to be part of my life. And so when the situation occurred, so my father, when I was brought to his location where he had his business, it was a serious dilemma for him. He was already married at the time, but never told his wife. His wife never knew
that he had
about
a child.
me. Now you're gonna bring a child that you never spoke about to your wife. But eventually, so his wife, it was the wife who ended up coming for me. I don't want to spoil the story. People have to read it. But it's like, through that experience, so it's like now here I am in my father's household, with siblings that I never knew before, siblings that I never met before, siblings that I'm gonna experience to live with for the first time under the roof with a father who never loved you back then and will never love you even the day after. So I was like, how am I gonna deal with that? A father who will compare 2 siblings, saying that, I don't want you to play with this one because I don't want her to instill in you bad manners. That other one is older than me. So it was a whole struggle. And when I realized I probably was 10 or less than 12 years old, but most likely when the news of the passing of my mother came into the house, that's when I knew I needed to grow, because I've realized that I needed to be an adult.
I see. At a very young age.
At a very early age, to kind of like mingle or move around that world, because I realized that if I don't become an adult very quick, it will be hard for me to survive.
But let me interrupt you there. But while you're surviving, there are some values, I would say moral values, that guided your path throughout your growth. And you spoke about them in your book, like honesty, dignity, morality.
Let
You
myself
follow
guided
those?
by,
Uh-huh.
to be the Beatrice that I am today.
Be brave,
Be brave.
be you,
Be bold.
be bold, be you, and be Tris. I think I'm gonna stop here. I cannot.